What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at a comparison between the MMC Ocular Max Impetus and the Unique Toys Rage Winterchill, which is a really strange name. Both of these are Vortex. So this one came out a while ago, I believe 2017, and this set is actually still coming out. This came out at the end of 2019, but I didn't get it till 2020. They're still working on the rest of this set. We don't have the full combiners, at least I don't have this one, so we're not going to do that today, but we will look at the limb mode. But with that, let's get into this and take a look at how good these are. So let's start off with accessories. Both these guys come with basically the same stuff. They both come with the collector's card, instruction book, and then this is the what's in the box. You've got a blaster. Now the Unique Toys gets 2 blasters, and then these sort of arm cannons or hand cannons that kind of peg onto his arms. The Unique Toys one is like ridiculously loose, and they do kind of fall off. I tried to put some floor polish on to tighten up, but it really hasn't helped much. You can get them on there, but they tend to just fall off, and they're very frustrating to deal with. So they're very loose. In addition, you get these guns. Now, these guns are actually transformable, so I have them in different modes. You're supposed to have it like this for robot mode. But when you put it in his hand, it does this. It's really, really loose. But if you use this peg in the hand, it's a little bit tighter, but the gun does look a little wonky. I mean, it's a little wonky regardless. So that's not very good. They do fit in the vehicle mode, but the same problem. They're all loose and they kind of fall off. The MMC version, here's the gun, and that tabs into the back of the hand with this tab, and it's very, very secure. It's not going anywhere. And also these fit very securely into the side of his arms. Also, it's very much more G1 accurate on these weapons. So because of the fact that it doesn't work and they fall out and they tend to be annoying, we're going to give accessories to MMC. So now let's talk about articulation. I did take all the weapons off so we can have him kind of moving freely. So let's start with the Unique Toys. So the Unique Toys, the head is on a rotating swivel. It is on this panel here. It doesn't lock in, but you can get it a little bit up, higher up. So pretty good up and down. Rotates all the way around. No side to side. You do have a rotation at the waist. And it's a little bit hindered by the backpack here, but it's fine. You don't get any ab crunch, although you do get this weird joint which is meant for combined mode, so you can get him to the one side but not the other side. Alright, now let's take a look at the articulation on the MMC version. So the head is on a ball joint. Now the neck is also on a ball joint down here, so for transformation you have to rotate it, but it tends to pop off. So what you need to do is get this into position, and then you need to loosen the screw on the head. So the back of the head, there's a screw back there, and that allows you to move the head a little bit more freely. Otherwise, as you move the head, you end up moving that neck and it pops off. Rotation at the waist, just like Unique Toys, but then you get this ab crunch, which is really nice, which we didn't have on the Unique Toys. So you get all the way down to there. So I definitely get more articulation with the MMC version because of the ab crunch, and also because of some of the movement with the legs and the head. But there's a little bit of irritation here with the legs. But regardless, the amount of articulation is definitely more points on the MMC, so we'll give articulation to MMC. They both are in their helicopter modes. Both good-looking helicopters, just very different in the actual look. They both have, this one, the Unique Toys, has some fake windows here on the side. They both have wheels. Both roll just fine. The Unique Toys has kind of fixed landing gear in the front. The back one folds up. The MMC, all 3 fold up. These don't feel very sturdy, although they haven't broken, but it does feel a little bit flimsy to me. Also, this rear rotor does feel very thin and very flimsy. You want to be careful with that. The Unique Toys one definitely feels a little bit stronger, a little bit less like it's going to break. So in terms of the vehicle mode, it's kind of a mixed bag. I do like the look of this helicopter, but then they cheaped out in some spots, like these windows. The helicopter blades are a little bit different. Instead of folding or sliding in, they fold up like this. So they have a kind of a nicer look to them. They don't look as, I don't know, broken up and panely as these. They're kind of smoother. But at the same time, there's other parts like this gap here in the front, and then the guns themselves, they just don't look like the cartoon. So while it is a good helicopter mode and it looks nice, it looks decent. I just realized I have this mistransformed here. While it does look decent, I think that the MMC version nails the cartoon a lot better, and it's a better looking helicopter, and you don't get this gap in the front. All right, and here we have both of them in their limb modes. And one thing you're going to notice right away is kind of the bulkiness of the unique toys. There's a lot of stuff just kind of hanging off, and the MMC, they've done a really good job at kind of hiding everything away. Here's the back of the arm. And another thing that is, I mean, obviously with all of these limbs they're the same way, but it's the all built-in feature. So this one comes with a separate hand. Again, I got rid of the hands and feet on this one, so don't ask why I don't have it, but it basically just plugs into here and you squeeze it together, and it's a pretty secure connection. But let's go over articulation in this mode. So you do get a bend here at the elbow, so it can go all the way up to there. And you'll notice these guns, they can store here, but they fall off. So I'm just going to take them off for now. I just wanted to show that you can store them. And it also has a rotation here. This glass does get in the way, and it does collide, so you end up pushing this out of the way. But you can rotate this arm, and you can rotate this. It's just extremely tight. I can't even get it to rotate. Yeah, there you go. So you can rotate this part here. Not the best movement there, but there's also a lot of kibble in the way here. So there's not really a good place to hide it all away. And it does work. It does peg in right here. That's the connection port. But it's kind of bulky. Now the official transformation, they have it like this, downwards, but in the cartoon he had it splayed out. So there's his movement. On the MMC, you got a double jointed elbow. It goes all the way to there on ratchets. So it really curls up there. And then you have a rotation, which is his waist rotation in robot mode, but it allows the arm to go all the way around unhindered. Not a single thing is hindered there. And then, of course, the hand. Now, the hand is basically the same on the unique toys and the MMC. They basically have the individually articulated fingers at 2 joints, so you can get it down to there. You can curl it up into a hand, and that's true for the unique toys as well. Based on the engineering and the articulation, a clear win for MMC here. The level of design for this arm mode is frankly very impressive. The fact that they're able to get it to articulate like this and fit the hand inside of the vehicle and have it still transform and become solid like this versus, a lot of kibble, it really is impressive. So we're going to give the limb mode to MMC. So next we'll take a look at sculpt and cartoon accuracy. So we'll take a quick 360, and one thing you're going to notice as we do this is there is a lot of kibble on the unique toys version. So you've got all this kibble on the arms, you've got this kibble on the legs here. The backpack is quite a bit larger just because there's a lot of things folded up there. Now they both are supposed to have this, the rotors, so that makes sense to me. It's just there's a lot of junk on there. And then on this side of the arm you got a whole lot of junk. On the MMC everything folds in there, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we talk about engineering and design and the transformation. But as far as the look of things and the sculpt, the way it looks, There's a little bit of paint on here, but in terms of overall as a sculpt, the cleanliness of the MMC wins for sculpt. And when we talk about cartoon accuracy, let's put an image up there of the G1 cartoon. To me, it's no-brainer, very, very clear that the MMC hits the cartoon, nails the cartoon. Unique Toys did nail it with the head, but the rest of the body, again, they took some liberties. They made a slightly different design, and they added some flair and stuff like the feet. It's got this blue piece, and there's some little accents and details. This chest is obviously modified. So they took their own spin on this, and that's the same thing they did with the Unique Toys Swindle. And so when it comes down to the sculpt and the cleanliness, it's definitely MMC, and then cartoon accuracy as well, MMC. Talk about build. So the build is very different. The plastic quality feels different. So again, the MMC's got that softer plastic as you're pushing things together and they tab together. The tabs are very soft. Now I will show you this tab here on the leg. Actually broke off inside. So it actually is supposed to allow you to tab these together in the vehicle mode. And you can see it no longer tabs together there. And the other thing is the front, because you got soft plastic on the front, you notice in the vehicle mode that it won't tab together, and I'll show you that in just a minute. But it does feel a little bit cheaper in terms of the build quality on the MMC. Now, that's not to say MMC is without fault. There are some things that do feel very delicate, especially the rotor on the rear and the folding fins. These fins don't feel like they're ever going to break. In fact, I've transformed this, I've dropped this, and these fins definitely don't break. I feel like if I dropped this once, I'd probably lose the fins on the back of the helicopter. So it does feel a little more fragile, and even these landing gear, they don't feel very great. They kind of feel like they could break, especially if you hit a drop. This is probably the first thing to break. So it's kind of a mixed bag here. On the one hand, I feel like this thing could take a shelf dive and it feels pretty solid, like it's not going to break, whereas the MSC has a couple pieces here and there. But on the other hand, the plastic is soft on the MMC. So because they're kind of both mixed bag, I'm going to give them a tie when it comes to build quality. Now let's talk about transformation. I'm not going to show transformation on camera, but the transformation on this MMC figure is really quite ingenious. It's very sort of fun, and it's just really cool how everything folds up and goes into his backpack. So let's just take a look in there, and you'll see all of the tail fin of the helicopter folds up and goes in. That's really just a very, very creative design, and it's just kind of fun to get it down and transform the way. You'll see the head popped off. I talked about that earlier. It's very ingenious the way they've designed all of their actually robots, and we've seen that with Pake's reviews, that the design is really unique and fun. So in terms of transformation, this guy over here is not very fun. So the legs kind of have to flip around, and there's a lot of little panels that get in the way of its own, you know, especially back here, just things just don't, it's not as fun, and it doesn't really hide things away. You know, there's a lot of stuff sticking out. So for that reason, I will give the MMC transformation as well as engineering. You know, the engineering behind this really is quite creative and intuitive and kind of fun. There's a couple pieces here and there that I'm worried about, like these little bits here, and we talked about that with the build. But in terms of the overall engineering, I'm going to give that to MMC. Next, we're going to talk about paint. So neither of these guys have a lot of paint, honestly. The MMC has got nearly nothing. So I think on the legs, probably these cockpits right here. There's a tiny bit of paint. Now I had a little bit of like glue or something. I'll try to show you that if I can. Let's see. So you can see that white stuff right here. There was some glue right on this. First transformation it showed up, and I was like, what is that? And it looked like either glue or just maybe some kind of thing to process when they put it together. But other than that, I don't think there's any paint on this guy. Or maybe the face. The face is painted as well. On the Unique toys, there's quite a bit more paint. So you got paint here on the arms. You got paint here on the waist crotch piece. On the face, you've got paint. Right under here, you got some red paint in there on this little intake. You got paint on the feet for the blue. You got little paint accents and details all over for the helicopter mode. So the little red and the black, the painted windows. On the top here, you got that little red arrow. You got some paint accents here on the side of the boosters. So quite a bit more paint. And then I think this is painted as well. These little red accents. So just because there really is honestly no paint other than the face on MMC, we're going to give paint to Unique toys. The final factor here we're going to talk about is cost. The MMC figure comes in at $100 MSRP retail. The Unique toys comes in at $90 MSRP. So we're going to give the cost to Unique toys is very close. Now, again, these are a few years apart, so things have changed, but you can tell in the materials that $10, it's worth it. It's worth what you're getting in terms of the engineering and the amount of plastic and the way it transforms. So we're going to give the cost to Unique toys. Final thoughts on this review. You can see my score up there, and obviously MMC takes it by the score. But just looking at these figures as a whole, this one is from several years ago, and it definitely has some challenges when it comes to engineering. The MMC is very advanced in terms of the engineering of being able to switch between all three modes and still look good in all three modes. The Unique toys is somewhat kibbly and bulky in the robot mode, and that kind of holds it back from really looking good. It does have a little bit of a mature or their own take, like these little panels here, that wasn't in the G1 cartoon, and little paint details here and there. There's very minor things, but there are some little subtle things that they've added that weren't in the cartoon. So it's their own take, and if you enjoy that, then you're probably going to like this. Price-wise, they're about the same price. They're about $10 difference, so you're not really going to save like you would with Zeta versus Fans Toys or something like that. That's really, guys. Obviously, if you have one or the other of these and you prefer that and you're happy with it, then you win and you enjoy that figure. That's really it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.